What's up, Carl Vinson? I'm your host, MC3 George Bell, and you're watching a fresh episode of The 70. Let's check out what's going on around the deck plates. In port, our liberty is hard-earned and well-deserved. But sometimes, sailors make decisions on liberty that can be more impactful to their lives than any accomplishment made at work. Petty Officer Kevin Harbach premieres a new segment where we like to highlight a different sailor from around the ship and what they like to do on liberty. He caught up with one sailor who takes the idea of liberty as a mission, not as a catchphrase, but as the opportunity to climb some of the highest peaks in Southern California.
My name is OS3 Nicholas Canetti. Today we're going to hike Mount Wilson, which is up here in Angeles National Forest, right outside of LA.
What's up, Carl Vinson? I'm your host,
it's
MC3
a little
George
over
Bell,
5,000
and you're
feet
watching a fresh episode of The 70.
at the peak.
Let's check out what's going on around
I guess
the
I
deck
was
plates.
kind of longing for something totally opposite. And you know, you come out here in the National Forest, and it's just a world without steel. It's you know, there's no ocean in sight. It's kind of nice to just get away, even for a brief while.
Getting away from the ship. Now that's something that's talked about every single day we're in port. But defending the nation, advancing qualifications, and taking care of this ship takes priority over anything else. And what you choose to do with your liberty can impact your mood in other aspects of your life.
I really started back in June of 2011 when we got back from our first deployment. I got my car and basically went to REI and bought a bunch of camping gear.
Although he may not have known it then, his decision to simply go buy camping gear was the first step that led him to where he is now, crossing the finish line on an impressive series of adventures.
My goal is to hike the Southern California six-pack. It's the 6 tallest peaks in Southern California.
And all of the peaks are finished.
It's the lowest in elevation on the six-pack, but it has a pretty decent gain of elevation on the way up. It's about 4,200 feet. It's about 13 miles out and back, and it's my last hike on the six-pack.
The last hike signifies months of hiking and thousands of feet climbed for one personal goal. But this isn't the end of hiking for OS3. It's leading up to something bigger, he says.
I want this series of hikes to lead up to my goal, which is to hike Mount Whitney next month. And that's the tallest mountain in the lower 48. And this is like a training cycle for it, so it's helped me keep my sights set on that.
With adventure on his mind and liberty as a mission, he'll set out to do it, challenging his shipmates on the Carl Vinson to explore more than just the San Diego city limits.
I'd say that you should just go out there and try something new. You know, I'm always down for a new experience. And like I said before, the Navy, I wasn't really into the outdoors much. I grew up in flatland Indiana. You know, it was just nothing but like cornfields and steel mills and factories. So I didn't have the resources growing up like California offers. And where we get to live and be stationed is, you know, one of the most premier places in the country for rock climbing, hiking, you know, kayaking, scuba diving. So I think everyone should really take advantage of it.
Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer Kevin Harbach.
War, terrible war. Sequestration has become out of hand. Under these harsh budget times, we must make Uncle Sam's dime worth every last cent. Got a dirty sponge? Don't worry, use it again. Sponges don't grow on trees. Oh no, the printer's run out of paper. What will we do? Here's a novel idea. Take the old paper and put it in there like it's new. It'll work. You solved that puzzle, haven't you, Dennis? There's a happy sailor. Hey look, Jill's doing her part. Keen moves, Jill. Done with that water bottle? Don't throw it away. No, take it to the nearest scuttlebutt and refill it. There's one. You sure solved that problem, Billy. What's this? You got paid extra? You think you can keep that money? Don't be a ninny. Give it back. Report to your nearest personnel office and return the money. Everyone must do their part to support the cause.
This has been a message from the USS Carl Vinson.
Fair winds and following seas. These words have been used as a farewell from sailor to sailor for generations. Petty Officer Alex King caught up with one sailor who got to say his final goodbyes and be a part of a ceremony to commit his grandfather's ashes to the sea.
Last week there was a burial at sea and I buried my grandfather, Lieutenant Colonel retired Ken Blute. Well, he served in Nam. He was a helo medevac pilot in Vietnam, and then he served in NORAD in Colorado Springs for a great while till they decommissioned NORAD, and then he just retired.
Being in the military is often a family tradition. For PSSN Heller and his grandfather, this connection was a deep-rooted bond.
The military life isn't something much in my family. My grandfather was almost the only one who served in my family, so to me, I'm the only one that shares that bond with him. So to my grandmother, I'm like a son to him instead of a grandson.
This bond permeated their relationship. At the time of Heller's boot camp graduation, when all Heller wanted was his grandfather there, Lieutenant Colonel Ken Blute was once again at war.
He was supposed to come to my graduation from boot camp, and I always thought it'd be the best thing ever to salute him, because I was finally able to salute him in, military uniform. But he couldn't make it because he had a cancer treatment on the day I was supposed to graduate.
Heller's grandfather passed away on Valentine's Day of 2013, close to Heller's one-year anniversary in the Navy. Death, especially the death of a close family member, can cause a perplexing array of emotions.
Well, to me, it was insane to see this man that I've known my whole life, a great person in a box. That was the most shocking part, that he was in this little tiny container and that was his entire being on this earth. It was right there, and I was the last person to touch him on the earth. Once you go in the water, you're never coming back.
Even though Heller didn't salute his grandfather that day at Great Lakes, he was able to say his farewells to him and fulfill his grandmother's wishes at the ceremony hosted aboard Carl Vinson.
So when I buried him, it was the first time I ever got to salute him, and it just meant, it was closure to me, because I got to finally salute my grandfather, and it was what my grandmother wanted. She heard about a burial at sea, and then that's all she wanted. She said she didn't care how long she had to keep the ashes for. She would wait till he was able to be buried at sea with me.
Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer Alex King.
For the first time since wrapping up Westpac 2012, Carl Vinson is being joined by the squadrons of Carrier Air Wing 17. In this next 1-minute exposure, Seaman Andrew Haller got up close and personal with the mighty strikes of VFA 94.
The goal of VFA 94 in this underway is to build experience in the carrier environment and to make sure that nobody gets hurt and none of our jets get broken. And the way we're going to do that is by making sure we do things right the first time, following proper procedures. And if we're doing that, nobody should get hurt, nothing should get broken. I think the big thing that sets our squadron apart from those squadrons here at the boat is we were, until last year, were a UDP squadron, which means that we deployed with the Marines out in Japan.
For the first time
for us,
since wrapping up Westpac 2012,
here at this boat, this is a great opportunity for us to get some experience working in the carrier environment that's new to basically all of us. None of the JOs in our squadron have been on a deployment on a carrier before, so we're all essentially nuggets, and we're all pretty excited to be here and to learn how to work all these boat ops during cyclic ops and that sort of thing.
Hi, I'm Becky from STSU, and I'm like way into military guys. I'm not Becky. I'm Kim Jung Park from North Korean intelligence. And right now, I'm trying to figure out where your ship is. Oh my God, my friend Tammy was just there. And right now, like OMG, we're totally screwing the deals. I can't believe how easy it is to talk to you. And it's people like you who are ruining it for everyone.
As the smell of gunpowder entered their nostrils and the echoes of gunshots filled the air, Carl Vinson sailors loaded their chambers and took their best shot at this year's All-Navy West rifle and pistol competition. Petty Officer James Guthrie set his sights downrange to show us what it was all about.
Ready on the firing line.
As the morning sunlight peeks over the mountaintops onto the dusty terrain, the desert sun isn't the only thing bringing heat to the firing range. Loaded up with AR-15s and personally owned weapons, Carl Vinson sailors and service members from other military branches gathered at Camp Pendleton for this year's All-Navy West Rifle and Pistol Championship.
It's the best 2 weeks of training I've had in my rate, you know, and my rate has nothing to do with
firearms. The smell of gunpowder entered their nostrils, and the echoes of gunshots filled the air.
You learn a lot, and
All Vinson sailors loaded their chambers.
As a master director says, Navy's best kept secret.
During the 2-week event, even the least experienced shooters improved their basic knowledge of competitive shooting at a variety of ranges.
I'd highly recommend it to anybody that's never picked up a gun. It's a great learning opportunity. You know, I've had prior firearms experience coming to the Navy, and I have never shot at this level of because it just takes so much to make it right between the wind and elevation, making sure all the dope's set. It's definitely a skill. That's why they call it marksmanship, you know.
Carl Vinson sailors shot from 3 different shooting distances, at 200 yards, 300 yards, and 600 yards. Each distance required a different shooting position ranging from standing, sitting, or kneeling to the prone position. Behind each shooter was a spotter who would watch the targets with a scope and call out the scores after each shot. The spotter would also watch out for any safety violations. After the competitors were done shooting from each distance, they would relieve the shooters who were moving and scoring the targets. While maintaining safety in a productive learning environment were the most important measures on the firing range, the atmosphere all around the firing range was competitive and encouraging. The members of the various military branches interacted at a slow-paced, positive manner, sharing knowledge and experiences.
You get to shoot with people that you wouldn't have met otherwise because they come from all different parts of the Navy, other services. So it's a good way to interact with people.
For many of the competitors, this was not their first year attending the event. The coordinators of the event always encourage new shooters to come out and get some experience with the weapons.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime type of thing, and it is the Navy's best-kept secret, so hopefully people can get out there and come out there and experience it and then pass it on.
At the end of the competition, Carl Vinson sailors did very well. They placed 3rd place overall, and Lieutenant Palmer won 10 awards himself. Reporting for the 70, I'm Petty Officer James Guthrie.
Well, that just about does it for this episode of The 70. I've been your host, MC3 George Bell, and on behalf of the Carl Vinson Media Department, thanks for watching.